But first, joining me now are Billy Zane. He stars as ex-con Larry Ray in Devil on Campus, the Larry Ray story, and Elisabeth Rohm. She stars, executive produced, and directed the film. She's also an alumnus of Sarah Lawrence College. Thank you both for being here. Appreciate it. All right, so Elisabeth, let me start with you because you've always viewed this story as very personal to you. Tell us why.
I've always really respected and loved Sarah Lawrence and really appreciated their unique way of educating their students and the sort of agency that these students at Sarah Lawrence have. They spend a lot of time with their professors. It's a really special academic institution. And I just was so shocked that they would have let this fly under the radar. And you'll see in the film that my character and my daughter, played by Tedra Rogers, go and we report it to the administration, and they didn't do anything about it. And so it's not to slam Sarah Lawrence, but it's to make all of us adults who are responsible for our young people more responsible so that we can adhere to more warning signs of situations like this. So, you know, this was a cautionary tale. But we wanted to find a unique, intelligent way into the story, which was really to tell the Larry Ray story, the portrait of a sociopath, and take the audience on that journey.
You know, and Billy, this guy was obviously, you know, a monster. How much did you get to know about him in prepping for the role?
It was, you know, more than practical and handy that such, you know, powerful material existed prior with the podcast, and the documentaries. I wasn't aware of the story until Elisabeth gave me the script, and then, you know, had a deep dive. I wish every job had that facility. It was, yeah, it was quite shocking. Dramatizing it was really interesting in that you know, what fascinated me most was how susceptible, you know, intelligent people can be, how quick to abandon their agency. And the cycle of trauma, you know, what led to this man making these decisions, you know, extortion, sure, but there was some, you know, there was something else, and he was a you know, he had a very traumatic childhood, and that you know, odd gift that keeps giving. We see it all the time in crime, that repetition, you know. Bullies are bullies, rapists have been raped, and, you know, it's just this thing that keeps going. So it was kind of fascinating to see what his particular MO was growing up, and how that informed a lot of, you know, his crimes.
Yeah, and I think it's really important what Billy said, you know, just the fact that these students in particular, they were so smart, and they weren't fools. I mean, he was a mastermind.
Let me play another piece of sound. You mentioned earlier about there's a scene about confronting the school, where the school becomes aware of what's happening. Let me play a little bit of that from the upcoming film.
It's bizarre and disturbing.
And you're saying he's one of the students' dads?
Yes, he's the father of Talia Ray. And he's an ex-con, did I forget to mention that? So not only is he sleeping on the couch in my daughter's dorm, he's also spending nights in one of the girls' bedrooms. What's her name again?
Isabella. And Isabella's really sensitive, so I just really worry about her.
Yeah. Claudia, have you seen or heard anything that makes you think your dorm mate is being abused?
Have you?
I'm not 100%.
Well, I will certainly send this up the email chain with a big red flag.
But you will block him from campus, right?
I do appreciate your very natural concern, but parents are allowed to visit their kids on campus, and the students are legally the age of consent, so unless there's a criminal complaint, my hands are tied.
You know, Billy, you were saying that you learned about this story largely from Elisabeth approaching you in the script. As you saw the details unfold, as you read through the script, what was your reaction? Was it sort of hard, incredible to believe that this actually happened?
Indeed. Obviously, there were, you know, enormous loopholes and you know, room for interpretation of campus law and or rules, I guess.
Thank you for watching. Go to NewsNationNow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below
to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.